Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Complete Edition is available on Nintendo Switch and PC. For this particular review, we'll be using the Switch version, and I know what you're thinking. Why though? Couldn't agree more. I've already done videos on the PS4 versions, but they're a little bit dated. But the general view, to save with watching these old videos, is I like the games as a whole. Cyber Sleuth is a game reigniting my passion for gaming, whether it be because of the nostalgia for the critters, or the fact that I was dealing with mental health issues at the time. No sympathy needed. I'm okay. It was kind of a comfort game for me. Hacker's Memory on the other hand, I still enjoyed, but fuck me, why was it full price? I'd say 90% of it was assets taken from Cyber Sleuth with 10% new. So let's address the quick elephant in the room. I own Cyber Sleuth on both PS4 and Vita. I also own Hacker's Memory on both PS4 and Vita. Now that I have this, it means I've essentially bought the games, well, both games, 3 times. I refuse to buy them again on the PC. However, it is in my Steam wishlist. So that's where this comes in. This complete edition is both games in one, and their DLC, and their DLC as well. Well, sort of. So you can redeem the DLC mon and items from the DLC lady, whatever her name is, I forgot. But you can only do it once per save. So if you migrate the save files to fill your Digidex, or whatever it's called, field guide, you then can't get them in the other game. And speaking of the DLC, they removed the Black Agumon and Gabumon as DLC. Like, I loved that at the start of Cyber Sleuth and PS4 and Vita, being able to get them so early on. I guess it's not much of an issue though, because part of this complete edition is the Digidex or field guide have been expanded in the first game to match the second, so you can still get the Black Digimon pretty early. So what's actually different? Well, not a lot really. The translations are still the same, so still rushed. Eaters, for example, are still occasionally getting called Bakamon. It's still the law, you've just got to plough for it. The expansion of the Digidex, as I've already mentioned, but I guess you still really need to complete both games to get a complete dex, because there's some Digimon that you can only unlock in Hacker's Memory. I'm not sure if there's only Digimon that you can unlock in just Cyber Sleuth. I can't remember. I suppose you don't need to buy 4 copies of the game to play it on the big screen on the go. You can transfer Digimon between the games. Apparently, I've not tried it, I don't really see a need to, since the good old USB tactician farming still exists. The added bonuses for you other UK tamers though, you now get the game censored. That's right, Systemon Noir, who was right at home in the UK PS4 and Vita versions of Hacker's Memory, has now been replaced by Systemon Seal, is it called? Ciel? Whatever. The reason for that is religion, I guess, but the true reason is laziness. That's because the complete edition version is the same version of the game no matter which region you buy. I heard there was a way to patch the PC version to restore Noir back, which in theory I guess if you have a hacked Switch you could possibly do the same. I just want to quickly address as well that while playing the Switch version I have had some slowdowns and frame skips which I didn't have in the PS4 or Vita versions. Which to me is baffling, because these games started life as Vita games in Japan. PS4 versions were just slightly upscaled ports. And I think this complete release is based on the Japanese version of Hacker's Memory, because the first game didn't get a PS4 version in Japan until this release, as far as I know. I could be wrong on that. So just briefly talk about the game. So, it's your bog standard turn-based RPG. To me it felt like the Persona series meets Digimon, but in an easy sort of way, but still not really recommended for children. Some of the characters say inappropriate things, and some of the characters are just tripping on words, flat out inappropriate for kids. This collection seems to want you to play through Hacker's Memory first, despite it being the second game. I mean, it doesn't really matter which one you do. More so as this first game is an asset stealing bastard anyway. Sorry, the second game is an asset stealing bastard. You can play either first. The story itself is connected in both, but different at the same time. For example, each have their own main story, but it branches over between them. You could say one game sees one event in one perspective and the other in another. So why buy it? Well, if you have the PS4 versions or the Vita versions, you probably shouldn't get it. There's no benefit. That being said, I believe the Sony versions have been delisted, or at least for the original game. So if you're new to it, then yes, slap that money down, because let's face it, Pokemon needs a good rival on the Switch. And as far as enjoyment goes, I much preferred these titles on Pokemon Sword and Shield. It currently retails between £20 and £35, depending on where you get it from, which is massive savings considering the price I originally paid, so it is value for money. Just want to say thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.